When I was in 10th grade, we had a new English teacher at our school named Mr. James. He was young, around 28 years old, with dark hair and warm brown eyes. His kind demeanor made him quite popular, and all the girls in school admired him. During breaks, many of us would pass by his classroom just to catch a glimpse of him. Mr. James was always polite, friendly, and professional. He was well liked by the other teachers as well. Some of the younger teachers tried to engage with him, but he remained focused on his work, teaching us with dedication. I, too, was fond of Mr. James. To me, he was the best teacher ever. I never skipped his classes and made sure to complete my assignments. Though I was quite shy, unlike my classmates who would joke around and ask him playful questions, I kept to myself. I paid attention in his class, always eager to learn. Sometimes I wore my favorite dress, hoping he would notice me. My heart raced whenever he called on me in class. My hands would shake, but I always tried my best to answer his questions, hoping to impress him. He often praised me for my hard work, which made me feel proud. For the entire year, I couldn't stop thinking about Mr. James. I even dreamed about him. One day, I discovered his house was near my neighborhood. Occasionally, I would walk past his house, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. If I did, he'd wave and say hello. If he was with friends, I couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. When I moved to 11th grade, something unexpected happened. Mr. James left the school. He had taken a new job in another city. I was heartbroken. I missed him terribly, even walking by his old house, hoping to see him again. But he was gone. As time passed, I focused on preparing for my university exams. I enrolled in extra English classes. On my first day there, I couldn't believe what I saw. Mr. James was the teacher I had always admired, and when I saw him again, I felt so happy. He smiled and said, "Welcome back, Emma." For the next 6 months, I worked hard in his class and became one of his top students. Sometimes, we stayed after class to talk. He asked about my future plans, and I asked about his new job. One day, he surprised me by offering to walk me home. I was shocked but thrilled. After that, he often walked me home, and I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. Soon, we started spending more time together, going to the park, watching movies, and talking for hours. I still remember our first kiss. It felt like a dream. I truly thought Mr. James was the perfect man. But then, one day, he told me he had received a job offer in another country. He had to move to the USA. I felt heartbroken. We promised to write letters to each other, and for a while, we stayed in touch. I waited eagerly for his letters each week. But as time went on, the letters became less frequent. I started college, and eventually, we lost touch. 8 years passed. One day, while browsing social media, I found Mr. James. I sent him a message and he replied. We decided to meet up and I was so excited. I dressed nicely and went to the cafe where we had arranged to meet. When I saw him, I was surprised. He looked different, older now with some weight gain. His hair wasn't as dark as before and his brown eyes seemed less vibrant. We talked for hours, but something felt different. He wasn't the same person I had fallen for as a teenager. After the meeting, I thought about the young, handsome teacher who had made me so happy in school. But I realized my feelings had changed. We grow up and we change. What was important to us once isn't always important anymore, but I will always smile when I think about my first love, my teacher, Mr. James. After meeting him again, I felt a mixture of happiness and sadness. I was happy to see him and talk to him, but I was also sad because I knew my feelings for him had faded. The next day, I looked at old photos from school. I saw pictures of my friends, my teachers, and even Mr. James. I smiled as I remembered those beautiful days, but I also realized that my life had changed. I was a grown woman now with a job, new friends, and new dreams. A week later, I received a message from Mr. James. He said, "It was nice meeting you. I hope we can stay friends." I replied, "Thank you, Mr. James. It was nice seeing you too. I wish you all the best." We exchanged a few more messages, but deep down, I knew it was time to move on. One evening, I walked in the park near my house. It started to rain, and I remembered the time Mr. James had walked me home in the rain. I smiled as I thought to myself, life is like rain. Sometimes it feels cold and sad, but it also helps new flowers grow. I still remember Mr. James sometimes, but now, when I think of him, I feel happy. He was a part of my story, but he wasn't the end of it. Life is full of surprises. It brings new people and new dreams into our lives. And sometimes, the best moments come when we least expect them.